in. It's Tipp with the Sports Affiliation. And tonight, we're going to be talking to you guys about the NFL Championship Weekend. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. Look, I can't say it without my guy, Greg Kellogg. Greg Kellogg, we love you. We know that you're here supporting us in spirit. Greg is out there getting ready for his move to Tennessee. But look, we want all of you guys to comment in the section who you think's going to win this weekend, because we got a great guest of people today that's going to come and talk to us about it. But with no further introduction, let's bring on Rick, let's bring on Joe, and let's talk about what we got to talk about this week. What's up, Rick? What's up, Joe?
Hey.
You guys are ready, fired up. I can't wait for it, man.
Excited for the championship round, 100%. Can't wait.
All right, I'm going to bring on one extra guest, and this is my guy, Duvall Henry of I'm Just Saying Sports Podcast. And yo, look, if you guys are checking this guy out, first of all, give him a follow. He's a Giants fan, but give him a follow and give him a shout out as well for coming onto this show. We appreciate all you guys coming on, and let's get right into it. Are you guys
Glad
ready?
To be here, bro.
We're ready, man.
All right,
let's go.
So, Duvall Henry, talk to us about your podcast. Give us a quick 2-minute synopsis on the podcast, how you got it started, and things like that, man. Go, let us rip it off.
All right, bro. I got you. So, yeah, man. So, basically, how we got started was, I was sitting down with the fellas and stuff, and, we just talking sports, and, I'll be doing fantasy and stuff all the time. And then they like, hey, why don't you ever try doing a podcast? And I was like, I don't know. Do people really even like me like that? They're like, you cool. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. You know what I mean? So I tried it out in July, last July. And, I fell in love with it. It was like a passion. All I do is talk sports all the time. I coach 8th grade basketball. I played ball back in Jersey. Yeah, man. College ball with the Rutgers. I messed that up, though. And then, there's a lot of sidetracking going on.
We all have a story. All
right. You know what I mean? So then, so I got started with the podcast, man. I had fun, started growing, man. I met Tipp. Tipp's an awesome dude. Now I got the pleasure of meeting you two guys, man. And I'm live every Tuesdays and Fridays on X and YouTube, 6:00 Central Time. So definitely check me out. And again, I'm going to give you guys a shout out for letting me be on your platform, yo. Greatly appreciate it. Much love.
Man, 100%. And here at the Sports Affiliation, that's what we're about. We're about growing the sport, growing the business, but doing it in a positive manner and bringing people on like yourself, a positive brother who comes on here, wants to talk sports, maybe talk a little trash too. Hey, if we get a little trash talking going on, that's what we're about. We want to have fun when we do this thing. So we're going to get right in. Oh, go ahead.
One thing that's really cool, though, because of me being a Giants fan, so like now no Patriot slander because they didn't look too hot this year.
We only have one more win than you did.
I like your quarterback, though.
As a resident Texan fan, it's great to be actually the good team of the group. So
and look, as a Ravens fan, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Not saying a word. But we are
like Mark Andrews. Go keep him up.
Oh, look, I'm done. I'm not saying anything. I still rock with my boys because that is my team. I'm loyal to the team.
You can brag about Brock Bowers.
Oh, Brock Bowers, 100%. I mean, Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers.
He did his thing. He's amazing. He's so fun to watch, man. So fun to watch.
Oh, my bad. I thought you said Ravens. My bad. I thought you said Raiders.
See,
that's why I said Mark Andrews.
See, now we're gonna have to put you into the timeout corner for that one. No, hey, but no, we're gonna get into topic number one. And you know what? Greg liked to do this throughout the season. Greg Kellogg, and it was fun. And you know what? I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep this thing going. And it's our day in history. And in this day in history, January 23rd, 1984, a guy came out of nowhere named Steve Jobs and introduced the world to the Macintosh computer system. So that brings up this next topic. Name a non-superstar player this week that's going to come out of nowhere and help their team get to the Super Bowl. And we're going to start with you.
Okay,
Ooh.
so I settled on Taylor Rapp of the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
I don't know. Is he a superstar defender, or I don't pay attention to IDP players, just team defense. But so I want to start off by saying that I saw a stat that said teams that win the turnover battle are undefeated so far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think with the two elite quarterbacks in this game, it's good. That's basically, I think, is going to be the difference in the game. He picked off Patrick Mahomes back in Week 11 when they beat the Chiefs 30-21. Mahomes actually had 2 interceptions in that game, and last week he made a big play against the Ravens, picked off Lamar, and he played pretty solid. He finishes all his tackles, so I think that Xavier Worthy's going to struggle making the breaking a long one off for a touchdown. I think they can contain him, and I see him continuing his good play and making another good play for to another big play that's going to make a difference in this game.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he is a little banged up. I believe he has that hip injury, but it looks like he's going to give it a go out there and give it his all, because you know that the Bills want to make it to the next round. Not only for those faithful fans that are out there, but they want to get it for Josh Allen, man. They want to get him over the hump against his rival, Patrick Mahomes. And Joe, I appreciate that. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to get to Rick's unsung hero. Who is it going to be for this weekend?
Well, I think Joe and I were on the same page, because I'm also looking at an IDP player and also a Buffalo defensive back,
Okay.
Damar Hamlin.
Nice.
2 years ago,
Hey.
guy had
Hey.
just collapsed on the field on Monday Night
Man.
Football, scared the world. And, he had something, and if I could come up with the name, commotio cordis, which is heart stoppage from a direct hit to your chest.
Oh, wow.
He is going to be the comeback player of the year, for sure. And but he had an awesome year for Buffalo. He had 2 interceptions, 89 tackles, fumble recovery. The guy is a stud, and I think that backstory of seeing him laying on the field with they didn't even continue the game, and then now 2 years later, he is a stud defensive back. He's going to be the big story of the championship game.
One hell of a story, man. One hell of a story. I can just imagine him growing older and telling his kids and then his kids about how he almost, died on the field. And now look at him. He has an opportunity to not only be comeback player of the year, but also be a Super Bowl champion too. So I know that he's extra motivated for that, because to come from almost dying to now here, I mean, that's just a true blessing. So for me, we're going to stay with Buffalo. I think a lot of us, okay, all right.
I was going to go Buffalo too.
We might be on the Buffalo bandwagon. We'll find out a little bit more about that later, though, everybody, because we are going to talk about our predictions for the games and for the Super Bowl prediction, who we think is going to win as well. But for me, I'm going with these Buffalo tight ends. I want to say Dalton Kincaid. I want to say Dawson Knox, because look, one of these guys is going to get right this week, because the Kansas City Chiefs, there's no question that the Kansas City Chiefs is a good defense. But when it comes to the tight end position, they are giving up almost 70 yards to the tight end position. So I'm going with one of those tight ends. Look, it could be a combination of Dalton Kincaid getting the yardage and then Dawson Knox getting the touchdown, or a little bit of both. So I think that both of them are going to have an opportunity to do something. And the other Dalton, Schultz, who played against the Chiefs last week for the Texans, he averaged 15. He had 15 yards per catch last week, and over 60 as a team. They had 65 total receiving yards, which is right on par for where the Chiefs are giving up. So I think you got to look out for these Bills tight ends this week, man. And that Joe Brady's going to be looking out for it. That Josh Allen's going to be looking out for it. And I guess you got to say that maybe Spagnuolo and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be looking out for it too. But I think they're just going to have a really good game plan to get these tight ends some open looks, some really quick looks, and get them nice against the Chiefs. All right. I'm just saying. What are you saying?
All right. So I'm just saying, man. I'm gonna keep the trend going. I'm gonna go Buffalo with this one.
Okay.
You know, as a New Yorker, well, I'm from New Jersey, born and raised. So you know, I'm the whole East Coast area. So I'm gonna keep it New York, but I'm gonna go all the way upstate. I think Mac Hollins is gonna be the unsung hero. I think he's gonna get. I'm gonna make a bold prediction for you guys. I think he's gonna get at least a touchdown with 60 yards.
Nice.
Okay, wait. I need another bold prediction. Is he going to show up in a Hawaiian shirt with the untucked, opened up, bare feet, coming up to the field too? Is he going to do that?
I think he's going to go Fred Flintstone. I think he's going to do that. I think he's going to be out there in the Freddy. You know what I'm saying? Walking on hot coals, bro. I think he's ready.
Man,
I think he's ready, bro.
Look, I got to tell you guys, I'm not arguing any of these picks. Now, this is also just a fun segment that we like to do. These aren't ones that we are, but I will say this. I think that you guys all have something going here, especially with the Mac Hollins and these tight ends. Look for those guys in DFS plays. Look for them for betting, especially the betting on those tight ends. And I like that Mac Hollins call. That was really good. They look for him in the red zone too. Mm-hmm. That was good.
Yeah. Gene in the chat came up with probably the best choice, which was the Kansas City referees. But
well,
that was funny. I read that. That was funny.
I'm still not over it. Okay. I'm still not over it.
Look, you gotta always, consider the Kansas City Chiefs referees. But we'll get into that a little bit later. We're gonna go on to topic 2. And topic 2 is to pay homage to our brother. I'm just saying. It's called I'm Just Saying. So this is time to have a little bit more fun. So name your favorite player in fantasy football that you drafted after the 6th round in 2024. Ooh. And you saying, I'm just saying, I'm happy I drafted that player, and give us a reason why.
Oh yeah. I don't even got to look at my team. I already know. And the 6th round, I went and I got Chase Brown, bro.
Yes,
I went and I got Chase Brown late.
Yes.
That's that a good
man.
One.
Oh,
yes.
I loved Chase Brown that season, bro. He got me all the way to the championship, but then I lost.
Yeah.
But man, Chase Brown.
You know, I gotta say with Chase Brown, the situation, because he's one of my guys too. Because I remember last year, right before the season started or ended, I noticed some of the plays that he would make. And, he had this dump off pass and he turned it into a touchdown. And I was like, wow, this kid is, and I looked more about him and, I understand that, he came from Illinois, playing from Illinois. He's got a twin brother. He's actually from Canada. And I was like, man, he's got a lot riding on this because he's a lower, higher draft pick. And then they go out there and they get Zach Moss. And I'm like, I get deflated. I'm like, why they go out there and get Zach Moss? Because they know Zach Moss is one of the best pass protecting running backs out there. So that, for me, I was like, man, that really kills his value. But I was like, I'm going to keep Hope alive. I'm going to keep going with it. And Chase Brown turned in a hell of a season this year.
Yes, he did.
He ended up being the 10th running back in fantasy football. Nobody saw that coming. And where did you draft him?
What was that? Where did I draft him?
Where did you draft him? Do you remember what round?
I think I got him like 7, actually.
Yeah. I mean, to get a 10th overall 10th ROI pick for that's a hell of a run, a hell of a season that he had. He didn't quite get 1,000 yards. I really wanted him to get that 1,000 yards, but man, Chase Brown, I think he had double-digit touchdowns, 11 total touchdowns as well. So yeah, he was one of those players. I loved watching him play this season. I would have liked to see them play in the playoffs too. But Rick, we're gonna go to you next. Tell us who is your player that is that you're saying that was a lower draft pick or a higher draft pick that came through for you.
In the 8th round, 803 in the Scott Fish Bowl, I drafted Baker freaking Mayfield.
Yeah, bro.
He come through?
Yes,
third highest scoring quarterback in football last year. Had just an awesome year, and sure, he's not a running quarterback, and of course, everyone wants a running quarterback right now.
He looked like
all he did was he moved the team, even after losing Godwin. didn't seem to affect them all. He just kept on going. And so, and who knows where he, again, he's going to do it even better. And I think next year with, with their receiving crew, I'm just a big Baker Mayfield fan.
Yeah, man. Look, Baker Mayfield. So I was on a space the other day, and everybody's talking about Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels this, Jaden Daniels that. He's the best quarterback in the NFC. And I just came on there. I chimed in right away, and I said, are we all forgetting about Baker Mayfield? Are we all forgetting about the guy who scored 41 touchdowns last year or this
4,500 passing yards?
Yeah. I said, I'm all for the Jaden Daniels love. I think that he's a hell of a player, but let's just don't we did the same thing to CJ Stroud last year. We crowned him he's the next best thing. He's the next best thing. He's better than he can compete with Mahomes. He can do this. He can do that. And he struggled this year. And Baker Mayfield, even though all the wide receiver issues that they had or injuries that they had, he still came through and did what Baker Mayfield we didn't think that he was going to do. So I love that pick at in the 8th. You said 8th round?
803.
I love that pick. That's a hell of a
pick.
Outscored.
I had the 103, of course, and I drafted Jalen Hurts, and Mayfield was my better quarterback all season long.
Yeah.
All right.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr.
That's my guy. Should it be my turn?
Oh,
should it be my turn now?
Go ahead. We were waiting. We were waiting.
Yeah, JC beat you to punch.
So did Gina in the chat. Yeah. So I got him. I actually pushed him up into the 7th round, and on the team I got him. He was going like at the 7-8 turn in falling into the 8th round. He ended up finishing wide receiver 4 for the year with 284 points, which was way more than I was expecting. I was a big fan coming in. He was my target in the mid rounds. My main draft strategy was to go running back. I thought the elite running backs, the top 3, 4, 5 running backs this year it was a big teardrop from between them and the next one down. So my draft strategy was to get 2 good running backs early to pair with like an elite hero wide receiver, land a premium quarterback, and then hit on my mid-round wide receivers. And he was one of my mid-round wide receiver targets, and he came up big. He was he was the wide receiver 1 in the fantasy playoffs too.
Man, look, we could sit here and talk about Brian Thomas Jr. for a long time, because a lot of people didn't have him touted as. Everybody was talking Malik Neighbors. Everybody was talking Marvin Harrison Jr. I was more on the Malik Neighbors side. I was with you. I was with you, Duvall. I was with you. I was like, man, I like this kid, Malik Neighbors. And I even missed out on Brian Thomas Jr. in a couple of, because I just didn't know what to expect. But I did get him in the Scott Fish Bowl. I think I got him in like round 9 or 10. Yeah. And man, he ended up being something for me. So what do you think? Next year, are you going to be going Malik Neighbors, or are you going to be going Brian Thomas? If you have those two right in, like, let's say 2nd, 3rd roundish, where you looking? Where are you going to head on that?
For me, I would. Geez, that's tough. That's a tough one. Oh man. I would have to go Neighbors, because I know he's going to get force fed like crazy. I mean, he is. But I don't know. I don't even feel right saying it, because Brian Thomas Jr. he was electric this year, man. It's a tough one, but I'm gonna just go with Neighbors, man. I think I think the targets are there for him. Whoever's going to be the quarterback. I mean, he showed you what he could do with Daniel Jones and some table scraps, but. Whoever we decide to get, man, the game plan is to get the ball to Neighbors when you can, and I think he's going to show out.
Yeah, it's amazing how both of them do so well with what quarterbacks that they've got paired with. Imagine them with a much better quarterback.
Yeah, it's just I teased out there. Brian Thomas Jr. is 5-year vet smooth, and he is, man. He's just so smooth with the ball.
Yeah.
He's so smooth out of his breaks, and he's so smooth with the ball in his hands, and he makes defenders miss like crazy. But I'm going to tell you guys my pick, and then we're going to answer a question that Greg Kellogg. Shout out to Greg Kellogg. Appreciate you listening in. Shout out to all you guys. I saw Gina in there as well. Appreciate all you guys listening in and tuning in. We're going to get to Greg's question in a minute, but we can't get to Greg's question without me saying to Greg, I told you so, Greg. I told you so. I went with Brock Bowers. I got Brock Bowers in the 11th round in one of my drafts. And guys, look, Greg Kellogg, the whole offseason. You can't get a tight end. He's a rookie. You can't trust him. Only other ones is Sam Laporta. Well, what did Brock Bowers go out there and do? He got 112 receptions, 1,100 yards, and he got 5 touchdowns. There was a bet. There was a prop bet out there for Brock Bowers. It was 4.5 touchdowns at the beginning of the season. Well, he just barely got that. So he got his 5 touchdowns. Brock Bowers has been a godsend to the Raiders organization. He is a player that you can build this team around. Yes, we still need to get a quarterback. I understand that. But Brock Bowers, for me, in the 11th round in one of my drafts, he was the only league I got him in too, because I tried to get him in some other leagues, but I was just like, I don't know if I want to do it just yet. Maybe I was listening to Greg Kellogg a little bit too much, had him in my ear saying to stay away from him. But I'm sure happy I did in that one league, because it got me all the way to the championship round. I lost, but it got me all the way to the championship round because Brock Bowers showed up all throughout the whole season. He was just balling every week. Every week he was balling out. Didn't matter who was throwing him the ball. So that was the guy for me. It was Brock Bowers. And Greg asked a good question, guys, because, Greg is a resident Michigan fan. He's a fan of all Michigan teams, especially his Lions, who, his Lions suffered defeat. Greg, your team suffered defeat this last week. We didn't all see that coming.
No.
But I will say this. Greg has a good question because Ben Johnson jumped ship and went over to Chicago. He wants to know, what is Ben Johnson's effect on Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze going forward? What do you guys think?
Helps them both.
Definitely does.
Yeah,
I think I'm in Illinois right now. I live in I live in Illinois, right outside of Chicago. So everybody out here is excited for Ben Johnson. All on the news, they're all like, "Oh yeah, he sounds like a coach. He sounds great." They hyped up. Everybody's hyped up over here. I think Rome Odunze is a good steal. He was a good catch as a draft. But I think they should probably went old lineman like Alt and stuff. Joe Alt.
He fell though. He fell in their lap, kind of.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
It would have been tough passing on him after they dropped him. But I agree with you. I think right now they're going to be focused on offensive line.
Big time.
Yeah. Running back. But I think they're going well.
There was I was listening to the radio earlier this morning, and they were talking about the Ben Johnson situation over there in Chicago and how, yes, the Chicago fan base is excited about this. They've seen what can transpire from this guy and from his schemes and what he does from Detroit. But I argue Detroit has the best offensive line in football. Chicago does not. So that is something that they definitely need to get on the same page about. They definitely need to, either free agency, either drafting. They need to get that O-line shored up, because I do think that this is a good move for Caleb Williams. I think it's a good move for Rome Odunze. I think it's a good move for the whole offense in totality. Maybe the running back, we'll try to see what happens there.
They need to upgrade a running back. I was going to add that.
They've got Rashawn Johnson. I think he was. Is he
gonna finally evolve? Like how long is it going to take?
Second year, so. But I think Swift is okay. I just think that they really need that offensive line, which is going to help both the running and the passing game. And and plus the draft is deep enough with running backs that you can get a running back a little bit down the line and still help yourself out. So they have to go with a tackle or a guard with the first pick.
I mean, could we see something like a running back Detroit like Sonic and Knuckles or whatever they call it? I like the Bruise Brothers barely more than I like Sonic and Knuckles. But are they going to try to run something like that in Chicago where DeAndre Swift is like the Jahmyr Gibbs and the Roshan Johnson is the David Montgomery? I don't think to that extent, but
yeah.
Oh. I think DJ Moore is gonna go have a big breakout. Yeah, I think Ben Johnson finds ways to get the ball in his hands with the screens, and so he can do his thing with his yards after the catch. That's why I think DJ Moore excels the most.
And Adunze, I remember when who is it? Matt Harmon does the reception perception charts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The only all green chart that he's ever done. So again, they had 3 wide receivers. That was why everyone was excited about Caleb coming in, was that he had so many weapons. I think that I think you're really right that they're going to go with an offensive line and just start to strengthen that part of their game.
Okay. And I'm just saying, you had something to say. So what did you have to say?
Oh, yeah. No, I was saying on my show, I got kind of crucified by the guys because I was like, hey, what if you could let's say you get in the draft. I think they picked 11th or 12th. And I was like, what if you can get Ashton Genty? I was like, I think that would be great.
I think that is something that people have been saying, and that's actually what they were talking about on the radio station I was listening to today. They were talking about Ashton Genty, but the main concern is if you get a running back like that, he still needs an offensive line to go behind. So if they address the offensive line in free agency, by all means, go ahead and get somebody like that. But if they don't address it in free agency, which you have to believe that they are going to try to address some of those needs throughout free agency before the draft comes, because they want to have something shored up. You got to believe that. So if they do, the stars align in Chicago and they go out there and get a couple of, a good tackle, a good guards, and piece them together with the players that they have and make a makeshift O-line, because it's still going to take time. It's not like it's going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
It still will take time. I think somebody like Ashton Genty would be a good fit for them. But then again, Joe brought up the point, or maybe it was Rick. One of you guys brought up the point that the running backs are it's deep this year. It's
you've got Caleb Johnson, Woody Marks, Omarion Hampton, a guy from Rutgers who I was going to ask tomorrow. I was going to ask you about, which is Kyle Monagai, who's that guy's a stud, and I'm actually thinking
Rutgers,
KC with him.
Yeah, so. They produce running backs.
Yeah, Pacheco and then Monagai. So
yeah.
Wait, didn't Gus Edwards went to Rutgers too? Wait, Gus Edwards went to Rutgers, right?
Yeah. Gus did.
Yeah, Gus.
They produce running backs.
Yep, they do.
Really it. It's really
That's
it.
Wait, they got the McCourty twins too. They're Rutgers.
That's right. I always forget about the McCourty twins.
You could kind of give them a little. I know. Look, I know Joe didn't forget about the McCourty twins. All right, man. So now we don't have a commercial break today, so we're gonna get into topic number 3, and this is the meat of the conversation. We're gonna open it up, guys. So this conversation, it's who you got. It's the championship weekend, guys. We got the AFC. We got the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We got the NFC. We got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders. I mean, who of us would have said that we would have seen that coming in?
No, to this not the Commanders. Not the Commanders.
I didn't
not
see
the
that.
Commanders, right? Like, there was no way. If you would have told me that in October, I would have been like, dude, you're a freaking idiot. Like, what are you talking about? There's no way. There's no way the Commanders are going to get into, because I was on a Commanders podcast earlier in the season, or before the season, and I told Red Zone in the lab, I was like, you guys are going to get 7-8 wins. I mean, it's going to be nice. It's going to be pretty. And, Jaden Daniels is going to be nice here and there. But, man, we did not see at all what we've seen from this kid.
I was thinking Detroit,
spectacular.
Baltimore. So what do I know? So
yeah, well, I'm happy. I'm happy we said that because I was thinking the same thing. Who did you have? I'm just saying, who did you have before the playoffs started? Who was your picks for the Super Bowl?
It was Bills Lions.
Okay, and what about you, Joe?
I had Baltimore Lions.
Okay, yeah, I had Baltimore. I had Lions Chiefs. I think that's what I had. Lions Chiefs. But go in the comments, guys. Please go out there. Tell us who you think is going to win this weekend, and then tell us who you think will ultimately win the Super Bowl, or who's going to pair up in the Super Bowl and win it. So let's open this up, man. Let's talk. Let's get it going.
Yes, sir.
Which game we starting with?
You started, Joe. Who do you want? AFC or NFC? You go with it.
Well, I'll start with the NFC.
All right, let's go.
I got the Eagles winning. I think that the offensive lineman, Sam Cosmi, him being out is going to be a problem because Philadelphia defensive line is very, very good. They're elite. They're going to cause problems for Jaden Daniels. Saquon Barkley is another X factor in this game. He torched him for 300. He torched him for 300 yards over the 2 games that they played. 4 touchdowns. Washington is the 3rd worst rushing defense in the NFL. I also think AJ Brown gets going in this game.
Okay.
When they do have to throw, I think it's going to be AJ Brown, and I expect Saquon to just. I expect Philadelphia to control the clock most of this game, and Washington will fight, but I just think that Philadelphia's defense is too tough, and the offense is good enough. The offense is open. They pass when they need to, and if they need to pass, it's in with Saquon Barkley, elite defense. They're gonna win the game. The offense and the defensive line is gonna win this game. They're gonna win it in the trenches, I think, and their talent is gonna make enough plays that they win. I see them winning. I got the score being 27-21.
Oh,
okay, so a higher scoring game. I can see that. Does a Jalen Hurts injury concern us at all, guys?
a little bit.
I mean, I know he hasn't been that big of a factor, and I know it's been Saquon Barkley running behind that massive offensive line. I know that's been the case, but you got to have Jalen Hurts too. I mean, he was the one that scored the first touchdown last week. I mean, who saw that coming? Him a rushing touchdown at that. So tell us a little bit about that. I'm just saying. Talk to us about that injury. What concerns you about it?
I mean, I think the strength of Jalen Hurts is mobility. So he doesn't turn the ball over. That's one good part. If he doesn't turn the ball over and actually give the ball to Saquon, and I had Saquon in fantasy, and he was getting push, and it was getting robbed. But
he was getting killed.
Now they're using him more so. But I think if they control the ground and then get AJ Brown, Devontae Smith too, get Devontae in the game too, man. I could see them winning, at least by 3. I think Washington plays a lot better than because they see him twice every year. I think they're going to play him tough in the Super to make it to the Super Bowl. I think they're going to play him tough. But yeah, you're taking away the mobility from Hurts. Now you just got to worry about Saquon, which is still a big problem. But the Giants didn't need him, so hey.
Giants didn't know how to use them properly. Put the right guys around.
Well, yeah, the Giants just. It was sad. It was sad to see. It was sad to see 2 things. It was sad to see the way they treated Saquon Barkley, the way they let him go. He didn't even find out. He didn't even find out about it. That right there. Because to me, Saquon Barkley is the type of dude who is always team first. I mean, it's evident he had a chance to break a record this season, and he was just like, "No, I want to sit it out. I'm here for a bigger picture. I don't necessarily want the record's cool, but I'm here to hoist that Lombardi. And it was sad to see that. And it was sad to see they just never got any pieces around Saquon Barkley. They just kind of let Saquon Barkley just get injured and get beat up from time to time. And I think we could have signed a lot.
Up most of the time.
We could have saw a lot more from him, you know, from Saquon. And there's always freak injuries, and that thing happens. Yeah. But, you know, I think it was really sad the way the Giants let him. And I think that was extra motivation for Saquon Barkley this season, because we've seen him get banged up as well. Last week, he hurt his wrist or his finger or something and came back out there in the next play and was ready to go. And he's probably not going to say anything. He probably fractured a finger, although we know. But, you know, it probably won't come out until the end of the season. And that's just the type of guy that he is. That's the type of guy he always will be. I am curious, before we go to Rick, I am curious to hear from you on this one. I'm just saying, since you are a Giants fan, how does it feel to see these two teams in the playoffs and you're just out there just like I mean, you're not the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the ones that really should be kicking themselves in the pants.
Yeah.
But you guys, you didn't have a shot. But how do you see, especially a team like the Commanders? Because me as a Raiders fan, the team like the Commanders give me hope. Because last year, what were they? They were one of the, you know, not the worst. I mean, they were like a 6-7 win team. And for them to be in the NFC Championship game, it gives me hope as a Raiders fan. So I just want to hear what you think.
Yeah, he definitely went further than Daniel Jones. But how I feel about it, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm pretty sure Daboll is really sad about it. I don't know if you guys seen the Hard Knocks, but when Daboll was interviewing Jane Daniels, he's like, I know I'm not going to get this guy.
Right.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I want this guy.
He wanted him bad.
You can tell, man. So he knows, like, I seen this coming.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, I'm rooting for Saquon because I want Saquon to get his. I really do. As a Giants fan, I really want him to get his.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I hate it has to be the Eagles, but just to shove it up, you know? Yeah, definitely do it. You know? So I'm cool with it, you know? And the Commanders, they really haven't done anything. So, you know, I'm rooting for the Commanders too.
Yeah.
I prefer if the Commanders win, though. That would be better.
Well, I'm not rooting for the Chiefs, I'll tell you that. But Rick, we got to hear from you. Tell us what is your outlook on the NFC Championship game?
So wild card game, the Cinderella team was the Chargers. They lost. Last round, the Rams were the Cinderella team. They lost. And I'm afraid this is the week that or the round of playoffs that the Commanders, the Cinderella team, that they're going to go down. It was funny. And it's funny because, you know, everyone was worried about the Eagles with Jason Kelce retiring. Hurts isn't going to be able to do the tush push, and they're not going to be able to run. You know, Kelce was such a key part of their offensive line, and no, that didn't happen, did it? So I think that what we're going to see is, you know, like Joe said, I think that you're going to see the offensive line just dominate, and they're going to be able to run on the Commanders. I do love watching Daniels play, but I just don't think it's going to work this week. So I think that it's going to be probably a 24-13 game.
Ooh, okay. I'm just saying, what was your score again?
Mine was 24-13. Joe was 27-21, right?
Yeah.
Right. And what was I'm just saying? What was yours?
Oh, I didn't. I think it'll be a close one. I think it'll be 2017 or something like that. I think they're going to win by 3. Yeah, I think they're going to win by 3.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, he did say that.
Okay. I think I'm on board with you guys, man. I think that Philadelphia is just a little too much as it pains me to say. Because I'm not a big Philadelphia Eagles fan at all, because I have friends that are big Eagles fans. A lot of people on Twitter here that are Eagles fans, and I got to hear from them all the time. I saw Kevin Hart on the Instagram post. I was just like, come on, dude, get out of here. Whatever. Like, flick you away, man. Because he's an Eagles fan whenever the Eagles are doing really well. No, he's straight up fan though. So it was funny seeing him. I think the Eagles are going to be just a little too much. I think Saquon's a little too much for this team. It is going to be tight. I do agree it's going to be a really close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a closer game just because Jaden Daniels, they are one of the teams that will look. Dan Quinn has become one of those what do you call it? I guess you could say Riverboat Ron-ish, one of those guys who just roll the dice. He's allowing Jaden Daniels to get the ball at all 4 downs, and Cliff Kingsbury is cooking up enough plays, cooking up some plays that are going to be getting them close enough to where it's 4th and short, and then they're relying on Jaden Daniels to use his legs or maybe throw the ball. This kid has been amazing, though, man. It's been amazing to watch him play. Terry McLaurin is playing on a different level than I've ever seen. It looks like Terry McLaurin has had a resurgence, especially since last year. But again, I just think it's a little too much for them. I think they need an extra piece. The running back situation for Washington kind of makes me nervous as well. Brian Robinson Jr., I like him as a running back, but I think going against that defense, it's going to be tough for him. And then Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler is another guy, another key piece in this one. I think that he could be that guy who does get some work in. But I also look for Zach Ertz because Zach Ertz wants to put it to his former team. It's been a while since he's played for the Eagles, but he wants to put it to his former team as well. It's just I think they're going to be a little too late in this one. I do think it's a close one. I think it's 27-24 in favor of the Eagles. But before we go to the next game, I do got to give a shout out to Vic Fangio. What he's done with this defense, guys. Last year, they brought in Rich Desai, who is a disciple of Vic Fangio, and he couldn't get this defense to do anything. They couldn't do anything right. He had some of the same players. They got a couple of new players this year. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. They got a couple of new players, obviously, but Vic Fangio has had these players getting in the right position every single time. And it's just funny to see a guy who you were a disciple of in Rich Desai last year basically have a defense look like a complete 180 once the Grand Master comes in or the Obi-Wan Kenobi comes in. And he just does what he does. And Vic Fangio has really got this defense playing well. They're really good in the trenches, not only on the defensive side, even on the offensive side. They're big on both sides. So I think it's just a little too much for them. So again, 24-27, we got the Eagles. All right, let's go to the AFC Championship game.
The minor league.
No,
just kidding. I was just kidding.
No, Rick. Tell us, why is it the minor league?
I'm a Texan fan. I have to root for the AFC teams, sure.
The JV game. The JV game.
Yeah. Get it started, Rick. Tell us about this one.
I'm going Buffalo. I think that the referees are going to be held in check because all the attention they received for the last week. I think that
no way. Go ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that Buffalo has just too much weapons, too many, and I think that Josh Allen will be the MVP, and I think he steps it up. I think that Kansas City has played just up to the area that they need to win each game. And I think Buffalo is going to put up a much stronger defense against them. And they're also, I think, going to play a better offense. So I think this one's going to be the close game. I think it's going to be something like a 24-21 game, but I'm going with Buffalo.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. And
by the way,
yeah,
KC has a 12-game win streak at home. So, that's going to be tough but Buffalo is 10-4 against the spread. So, this is going to be a fun game to watch. And it's only a 1.5 games. I think Kansas City's favored by 1.5. So it's one of those games that could go either way. I'm going to be rooting for Buffalo.
All right. So I'm just saying, tell us, what are you saying?
Well, I kind of gave it away. I'm going Buffalo too. I think Buffalo beats the refs by 3-2. So I got them. I get it probably around 24-21. Yeah, I think Josh Allen is going to have like a heroic game a little bit. He's going to be Supermanish because he knows who he's going up against. You're going to have to be too. You can't hold back at all, man, because these Chiefs, they don't go away. They know how to win. Yeah. And it's like, if you give him the ball, if you can't give Patrick Mahomes too many cracks at it, so you can't just be like, we just run the ball on them and that's it. No. You gotta put them away. And the only way you're going to do that is if Josh Allen feeds those receivers and stuff and actually puts on his cape. He's going to have to, because this is a guy that's going to – Patrick Mahomes, they got a chance to three-peat, y'all. Like, that is crazy. You got to put the stake in the heart, man. You got to – done. Like, don't give him a chance, man. So I'm going for Buffalo. I think Josh Allen finally gets over the hump, gets that ring. Peyton did it. He can do it too, man. Let's go. I'm going Buffalo.
Wow. Okay, well, wait. We'll get into the Super Bowl conversation in a sec.
My bad.
But no, you're fine. I'm gonna give you my thoughts real quick. I think Buffalo wins this game. I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm tired of Kansas City. I'm tired of seeing the red. I'm tired of seeing number 15. I'm tired of seeing walrus ass Andy Reid. I'm tired of seeing the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs with his toupee on. I'm tired of seeing Taylor Swift.
There it is. I was waiting for it.
Caitlin Clark. I'm tired of
Caitlin
seeing
Clark now too. When does she become a fan?
I'm tired of seeing all of this. This has got to stop, and it's going to stop this week. Yeah, she is. It's going to stop this weekend. And look, Josh Allen is going to beat Patrick Mahomes, guys, and he's going to beat him off the strength of a good running game. He's going to run the ball. Tight ends are going to get involved. Mac Hollins, I like the call on Mac Hollins. He should be sneaky. Curtis Samuel, he's got a bevy of, he's got weapons here, guys. And the thing is, I just think that Josh Allen's, it's his time. It's Buffalo's time. I think it's their time. I think this is it right now. It's going to be a hard-fought game. I'm not going to say that they're going to go out right and just mollywop them, but it's going to be one of those games where by the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes is just not going to have enough left in the tank. This is hard to do, man. It's hard to do. I just don't think he has enough left in the tank. That they're going to preach discipline on the defensive side, not get Patrick Mahomes to get those silly penalties. They're going to preach discipline this week. So I think Buffalo wins this game. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I'm not going really, really high on this one. Yeah, actually I am. I think it's going to be 27-31 Buffalo. And so we're going to go with that one. Joe, who do you got?
What's the spread?
I just
1.5 points. The over and under is 47.5.
I just want to say I wholeheartedly agree with the first few things that Tipp just said about the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going with Buffalo. I mentioned it earlier. It's in this game, the one, maybe one or two turnovers is going to be the difference. Buffalo is number one in the NFL with the plus 24 turnover ratio. We talked about how the Buffalo secondary is going to bend but not break. They're going to make sure that Xavier Worthy doesn't break. They're not going to get. I don't think they give up any deep shots to Kansas City. I think Kansas City's going to kick more field goals than they want because of that. And in the second half, I'm just saying, mentioned it. Josh Allen's going to put on his cape. He's going to start running all over the place. He's going to hit the open man when he needs to. One of the tight ends, like you mentioned, Tipp, Knox or Kincaid. Actually, Knox might be a really good anytime touchdown bet in this game. Yeah. But one of them is going to step up and make a big play, and Buffalo is going to do just enough in the second half to win. I have it somewhat high scoring. I mean, the last two times these teams played, they went over 50 points. So I got Buffalo in this one, 27-23. With KC kicking too many field goals.
Okay, I like it. So it seems to me that we all have Buffalo versus the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So let's talk about that for just a second because we do have one last topic. So just give us a quick score on the Super Bowl game because we're also going to get that from Greg next week. So quick, we'll start with you, Rick. What is going to be the score for the Super Bowl, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Buffalo Bills?
This is going to be a low scoring game. I think it's going to be 20-17, and I think it's going to be Buffalo.
Okay. Rick, I'm sorry, Joe, what about yourself?
24-20 Buffalo over Philly.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I kind of had that score, 24-20. I really did. I had that one. Yeah.
Say 21. Just say.
Yeah. 24-21. I think Josh Allen, he gets that ring, man. I really do. I think he gets over that hump, beats those critics because everybody said he was overrated. I think he does it.
Yeah, I like it too. I think we're all kind of, in that same realm, kind of low scoring, tight game, entertaining game, field goal to win it, 20-23 for me. Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl. And the rough buff, you finally get to rejoice. After all of these upsets that you guys have had, you finally get to rejoice. So, and we'll find out after this weekend. We'll find out who's going to be in the Super Bowl, and then we will get our prediction from Greg Kellogg next week in our show on the 30th. All right. So, last but not least, topic number 4, and it's my favorite topic because it talks about my favorite player. It is Bijan Robinson. This is called Bijan or Not to Bijan. And it's well documented that I am a big Bijan Robinson fan. Look, the guy this season, 74 missed tackles, 14 touchdowns, rushing, 34 explosive runs. This offense is tailor-made for a player like Bijan Robinson. My friend from Football Guys, Matt Batanti, there it is. Matt Batanti, he's our offensive line expert. He still has this offensive line as one of the top offensive lines in the Atlanta Falcons. So I think that another year older, Bijan Robinson, another year in the NFL. This is year number 3 now for him coming up. I think that there's no reason why he cannot be the number 1 pick in a redraft and dynasty. Hell, I'll do it again. I did it this year. It didn't really go that well, but I did draft Bijan Robinson number 1 in a flex draft, in a super flex, just because I just believed in him so much. I ended up making it to the playoffs. I made it to like the second round, but I did it, and I'll do it again next year too because I just believe so much in this kid. So I want to hear from you guys next year. We're just going to do redraft. We're not going to do dynasty or anything like that. We're just going to do a redraft league. Who are you going to be picking number 1? We're to start with you, Joe. Who is your number 1 pick? Because you already know I'm getting Bijan. Who's your number 1 pick?
Rick. I'm gonna leave Rick Jamar Chase. It's really Jamar Chase, but I'll make a case for Jahmyr Gibbs. So he's had 300 touches, almost 2,000 yards from scrimmage, and 20 touchdowns this year. He was the running back 1. He's tied to the Detroit offense. Even with Ben Johnson gone, this offense is still going to be elite. Jared Goff, Jamison Williams, St. Brown, Laporta, the weapons are endless. I think David Montgomery is good for Gibbs. It's going to take, he's getting 20, 25 to 30 touches without him, but he's still getting 20 touches with him in the game. He keeps him fresh. He's not being overworked while he's there. And that is gives you a little bit of confidence that, he's going to be injury free. They did a good job making sure he was out of harm's way this year. So I'm down for using the first round pick on him, the number 1 pick. He's like Alvin Kamara, but he might be better. He's quick. He's a better runner than Alvin Kamara. And that's basically it. I mean, what else can I say about him? He's tied to that offense. He's the man.
The only thing you can't say is Bijan's better.
Yeah,
No.
I have Bijan ranked ahead of him, but you know, I wanted to make I wanted to be different and make a case for
Sure.
somebody else.
All right. That's cool. I mean, I don't fault anybody for saying Jahmyr Gibbs at all. But Rick, I gotta hear from you. Did you say Jamar Chase? Is that correct?
Yeah, if it's a single quarterback, Jamar Chase, he was the number 1 wide receiver this last year. There's nothing telling me that he's not going to be as good, if not better, next year. So I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. If it was super flex, Lamar Jackson. I mean, again, far and away the best offensive weapon last year. And again, nothing that's showing that he's not going to be, as good, if not better, next year. So those would be my 2 picks. Tough for me to choose a running back just because of chances of injury. Given an option, I'll either go with the wide receiver or with the quarterback, of course, if it's super flex.
Okay. And I'm just saying, so tell us, who would you pick number 1?
Well, I picked him up last season, got him number 1. I told everybody to get him too. And they're like, nah, man, he gets injured all the time. I was like, yeah, he's injured with us. So I'm like, yo, Saquon for me. That's my guy.
That's a good
and
pick.
If it was super flex, I'm with Rick. I actually got Josh Allen. And Josh Allen put me through, man. I had Josh Allen and Saquon, so I would definitely run it back again.
Oh wow,
I'm feeling like
that's a hell of a combination right there. If you can get something like that's beautiful to have. There is a concern about Saquon Barkley, and we talked about it a little bit a couple of shows ago with Greg Kellogg, and we talked about the curse of 370. So that's the only thing that's kind of scary about Saquon, because I mean he had a ton of carries this set last. They kind of what they did do, I think, really well is towards the later part of the season. They did kind of, watch some of his touches, especially the last game, holding him out. I think that was more of a mutual thing, but holding him out. So I still think Saquon has some left in the tank, because we got to remember he did miss some seasons, like full seasons. So, he still has the explosiveness. He still has the power. I still think, I don't know if I would take
it was 1 on 11.
But yeah, right.
Well, the Giants O-line was just
right.
Everybody go through.
But I would definitely consider him. If I had that number 1 pick, you would be stupid not to consider Saquon Barkley. I'm still going with Bijan, just because I got a little spite in me too, because a lot of people laughed at me and said, why aren't you picking Christian McCaffrey? This, that, the third, Breece Hall, this, that, and the third. And I was just like, no, I like Breece Hall, but I didn't know how it was going to look with the Jets, and come to find out they don't like to run the ball, and it was the same thing the season before. It was the same thing this season, and now I just don't know what they're going to do next year. Obviously, if they don't have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, one other running back that you have to look at least in last year or going into this past year, everyone said, well, he doesn't catch the ball, and he's old, but Derrick Henry. So he's got to be considered too, despite being old and despite not catching. Yeah, he was number 2 in fantasy scoring for 2024. And again, I'm not expecting too much of a drop off even next year. Did we lose Tipp? Well, we came to the end of the show, and actually we made it on time. We've got just enough time to be able to let Duval again tell us where we can find him. Why don't you give us a little bit more information about yourself?
Yeah, sure, guys. Thanks for having me again. I want to tell you guys thanks. It was great. I had a blast.
I don't know what happened. We're back.
There he is. There he is. Yeah, but you guys could definitely catch me on X. I live on X, really. That's the only platform I'm really on. I have a TikTok and I have Instagram, but it's just me to do all the edits, the clips, everything. So it's just too much to post everywhere. So I'm just mainly on X, and I like the community on X. X is a real cool community. So you can catch me there. I'm on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube and X primarily. And I talk fantasy. I gamble, which I shouldn't, but I do a lot. So yeah, if you just want to talk parlays, I'm all about it. Like I was just trying to get Rick with the spread. The gambler in me, my palm started itching with Tipp's bold prediction on that score. So, but yeah, man, I like to have fun with it, man. I'm just here, just like to talk with the guys, just have some fun, man. And I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity, dog. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Like,
it was
we
a
love
great
having
time,
you on
man.
here.
Great
It
time.
was really fun. Look, you know where to find myself, Rick. Joe, tell us real quick where we can find you, and then we'll close up shop.
You can find me on X. I'm same thing. I'm only on X. It's a handle name right there. Me and Rick are going to be hosting the Thursday Checkdown starting February 13th, I believe.
Thanks, bro.
Definitely.
And we're going to have fun with the off season. We're going to try to help you out, prepping for your draft, talking some best ball, dynasty, all the good fantasy football off season topics.
Yep.
And with a good number of good guests, so including Tipp and Duvall again, if we can talk them back in. So
yeah, well, definitely.
Absolutely. So next week's show, it's going to be kind of it's going to be a turnover show. What we're going to do is we're going to have myself and Greg on the show. We're going to talk a little football. Obviously, we'll talk Super Bowl because that'll be the week, or it'll be the week prior to the actual Super Bowl. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're really going to turn over the reins to Rick and Joe, as they just alluded to. So it's going to be kind of a meet Joe, meet Rick, get to know them a little bit better, get to know what they're about, some of their things in fantasy sports. But yeah, we're excited about it. Myself and Greg Kellogg will be there as well. Appreciate you coming on, Duvall. Again, Thanks, Just Fan Podcast. Appreciate you being on there as well. Please give them a follow, guys. Please give everybody on here a follow. Give the Sports Affiliation a follow. And that's it. JC, take us home.